Hi everyone, continuing with the Thermal Hunter build, the electric version. This is the center section. I've now sanded it, so you can see it's all sanded. Most of the scorching has been removed. Everything came out really nice. I'm happy with how that all came out. You can see the bottom has been sanded as well. The leading edge is shaped and sanded, contours nicely, and it fits with the shape of the plywood ribs. And if you compare it to one of these, well, actually that's for the next panel out, but you can kind of see it fits the same shape. So what I'm working on now is the spoiler. Spoiler was it's cut a little bit long, so I just shave it, I just sand it down on one of the ends until it just barely fits into its slot. And it was a hair wide as well, so again I sanded it until I got it to just drop into its slot with a little bit of friction. Pop that out. A little bit of glue got on there. Okay. And then once I got it sitting in there comfortably, next step will be to shape it. But before I do that, I wanted to make sure that while I'm shaping it, that the ends don't flex down. So underneath, with the spoiler sitting in its space, I glue in a couple of cross pieces, one here and one here, on the inside of the ribs, the one double prime ribs that bracket the spoiler bay. So if you pop the spoiler out, you can see those in there. So you got these brackets in here, which are just basically braces that the spoiler can rest on. It prevents the spoiler tips from sagging. I may eventually put like little tiny magnets in the corners that'll just grab the spoiler as it drops into position. But they're small enough that the servo can overpower them and pop the spoiler up. So now with the spoiler ready to be put in place, so just remove this little bit of glue that got on there. Okay. Alright, so that drops into there like that. Now I can, just using my razor plane again, just shave off the excess material, everything that's not spoiler. Of course, it's flexing a bit. Try my other plane. There you go. Takes a bigger chunk off. Okay. And that pretty much did the job. So now that's all the way down. Now I can just run my sanding bar across it. Still got a little bit of a rise over there. Pretty good, so the spoiler will pop out. It's a little bit tight, so I'll probably need to do a little bit more. Got glued in again. There seems to be a patch of white glue on this ribbon interior here. That. So it fits in there like that, and it'll pop out and drop back in. Like I said, I might put some little magnets to help keep her in place. I'm actually going to shave off a little bit more, but now using a flat surface. just to kind of even it out a bit. Sanding it in the wing, because of the ribs, creates kind of a slightly irregular sanding pattern. So this helps just kind of smooth everything out and level it. Okay. That's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Just about as level as I can get it. There's the spoiler installed. Next thing will be to install the servo in there. And then the hinge for the spoiler is I just use covering for the hinge. It seemed to work pretty well with the other T-Hunters, so I'm not going to overthink that. So that's the center panel. The remaining panels are all shaped. I've hit them with the razor plane, using razor plane to shape all of the shaped wingtips. I've rough shaped the leading edges and rough shaped the trailing edges. So they're all down to basically the point where I can just sand them to get them nice and smooth, clean them up. Same thing for this wingtip. And same thing for the tip panel, for the outer panels, or the sort of the intermediate panels, I should say. And so everything now is ready for final sanding, and then I will glue in the last step, which is I'll glue in the wing joiner tubes for the wing joiners. I've already glued in the plywood on both sides of these joints, so that's already done. It all fits together very nicely. And so I will glue this joint here when I check the dihedral. So that's the next step. So we'll leave it there for now. Just showing you how I did the spoiler. Anything else to show you? No, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'll probably put little magnets in these corners, and I'll do that before I cover anything. So there'll be probably just on the spoiler side, I'll glue a little piece of broken like X-Acto blade, or a piece of broken scalpel blade, something like this. Just break it off with your finger, or sorry, with the pliers. And then on the other side, these are tiny little magnets. Those little magnets will just be glued in a corner inside. And so as the spoiler approaches the magnet, it snaps onto it and gets held in place. And when the servo pulls it away, that pops away, and then the spoiler is free to move to its different positions according to whatever the magnet dictates, or the servo dictates. So that'll probably be my next step. I'll be able to show that to you. All right. So yet another Thermal Hunter video. I'm getting to the point now where I'll probably call it quits with videos. I might just have a brief one showing how I do covering, for those of you that have never covered anything like this before. But after that, that's pretty much it. The airplane is mostly built now. Of course, there's the fuselage built as well with V-tail installation. The spinner and propeller is installed. So the next step of the fuselage is, again, fine sanding, final sanding, then sealing the wood, sanding again, and then figuring out whether I want to cover it or paint it. So that'll be the next step on the fuselage, and then installing the servos and all of that. So hope these are useful. I know these videos are rough, very low production value, but hopefully they're useful from a purely pragmatic building perspective. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to spend a lot of time editing. It takes hours and hours to edit videos and make them all look fancy and neat. It also takes time to prepare a special workbench where you only do video builds and all that kind of stuff. I don't have time for that, so I focus on just getting the information out there so the folks who are building thermal hunters can see how I do it and hopefully get a satisfactory result. So that's it for now. More later. Thanks for watching.